Okay. This is episode what? 5?
Yes.
You said ish or yes?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. Let's get started. All right. Welcome back, everyone, to episode 5 of the Bingeverse. Before we get started, Aunt and Maya, how are your weeks going? How are you guys doing?
I'm still in my Eternals high. I can't wait till we discuss it. I know I totally get why there's such like a middle ground on the movie in terms of like the critic score, the audience score, but I really enjoyed it and I wish it was on Disney Plus so I can keep watching it over and over. But I know you haven't seen it yet, Bria, so I won't talk any more about it.
That's crazy. Propaganda is what that is. Are they paying you? Let me find out you got a sponsorship.
No, they're not paying me.
Because
Whatever.
we'll get to that later though. I don't know. I mean personally, I'm just tired. This week I've done hella shit already this week. I'm just tired.
No, I feel that.
Wasn't there some big soccer news this week too?
What did I miss? It's an international break.
Oh yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo, right?
What do you mean?
Never mind.
What happened to him?
That was the biggest news. He lost.
Oh, I thought he got was going to announced he was going to another team or something. Maybe not. Don't mind me. Oh yeah, they said he could leave Manchester. Okay, never mind. Please cut it out. I was trying to be relevant.
No, I feel that. I am tired too. I feel like I was on vacation last weekend, and then now I'm preparing to go back home, so it's like another round of packing and all that. So I've been all over the place, but such is life.
Twist out bomb though.
Oh, thank you. All right. Well, what if as far as trailers or announcements or things that have come out, what have you all seen that you all are excited about for this next few months or a few weeks here?
I'm not gonna have as many trailers as last week. Last time it was so many trailers.
Yeah, there's a lot last week.
I guess the biggest. I feel like there's nothing coming out in November, like nothing significant. I'm just like I was looking at something like this is weak.
Yeah, the lineup is not that great.
Yeah, it's a slow month.
Morbius though.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing I've seen is Morbius.
Well, wait, that comes out in January, but in terms of the trailer dropping,
yeah.
It looks really good. I was a little nervous because I'm like, Sony. I have a little bit of vendetta against Sony because I'm like, just release the Spider-Man rights. And they just keep trying to leech off the MCU and it's annoying to me, but it looks very, very good. I'm a big Jared Leto fan. And I was, I'm, as you all know, that I'm not a huge fan of scary stuff. So the vampire face kind of freaked me out, but it looks really good.
I have low expectations. I'm not expecting anything from it's Sony. So we'll see what it's heading for when it drops.
Is am I getting these white boys confused, or is Jared Leto the guy from Succession?
No, that's Jeremy Strong. So he played Joker in the first Suicide Squad movie. And I'm trying to think of another big role he played. I'm blanking right now, but oh yeah, he's gonna be in that House of Gucci movie. But
I did see that. Okay.
Yeah. So and then Book of Boba Fett coming to Disney Plus. I'm so excited. Did y'all watch The Mandalorian? Did you like it?
I like The Mandalorian. I don't really be caring for Star Wars stuff, but I do like The Mandalorian. So I'm gonna watch it. But I feel like this one, I don't feel like I'm gonna like it. I like it. I don't feel like I'm gonna care for it.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like I kind of want to rewatch it. It was probably one of those things that was just kind of playing in the background for me because I don't really remember much of the premise. But I'm gonna rewatch it before I see this the Book of Boba Fett too.
Gotcha. Yeah, I wasn't even a Star Wars person into it until The Mandalorian. Like that was my jump on point. And like just after that series, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so committed. So I'm really excited to see it and
Yeah,
yeah, just see how they continue the story.
I did like the Visions thing they dropped for Star Wars
Oh
though.
yeah,
That
like animated anime mixed with
yeah,
Star Wars, right? It was cool.
yeah, I like that.
Mhm.
The Star Wars movies, yeah, I don't care about none of that.
Yeah.
I was never really into Star Wars. My brother and my dad loved it, but it just never got me. And then they would always want to go see the new ones that came out like over the past couple years. And I just felt so lost. Like, like what are you guys talking about in this movie? So
Yeah.
Y'all still going? Y'all still fighting a war?
And
what'd you say?
Like you still fighting a wars for like 2 decades?
Right, like come on now.
I remember I've seen some of them, but I just never really got invested. And I know some of the newer stuff wasn't that good. I remember I went to go see Rise of Skywalker because I thought it was one of the dopest trailers ever, and it was kind of not good
Mhm.
at
Yeah,
all.
I think I went and saw that. It was like our Christmas family movie or something like that. We went to the
Oh,
theater. So.
really?
I could not tell you what the movie was about at all.
Me neither.
They got Moonfall. Where did I see it? I saw a trailer somewhere. I liked it though. I can't tell you what happened in the trailer because it was like last week,
Mhm.
but I just know I liked it.
Yeah, I feel like Holly Berry is like just making her way out of retirement. I mean, I haven't seen like her in anything for years. So
Hmm.
I think the last thing was that The Call, that movie she had when she was like the 911 operator. That was a
Yeah,
good movie, but I haven't seen it really.
yeah, and then she's in the other one that's coming out. I think early next year or later this year.
Oh yeah.
Um,
The Netflix one.
yeah. So she's busy, booked and busy.
Love that for her. Go Queen. How do I feel about King Richard?
I'm excited. I think
That is really like
I
I
feel
didn't see this
like
one.
I listened to another podcast like maybe like a year or two ago before we heard it. Like I personally heard anything about it. And Will Smith has only been nominated for Oscars. He's never actually won anything. So people were like, this is going to be like that critically acclaimed, his like trying to go for an actual Oscar win for like Best Actor. So we'll see. But I mean, the trailer looks really good. And that little girl who plays Serena looks just like young Serena. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. I did not see this trailer, but I did not know that this movie was called that. I didn't know it was called King Richard. Um but no, I'm excited for Will Smith. He's one of those actors that he plays a lot of the same character.
Mhm.
So I feel like maybe this will be, like you mentioned, one of his, I don't want to say breaking roles because obviously he's a really big actor, but this might be the one for him. So we'll see.
I hope so. I hope so. All
uh,
right. Go
they
ahead.
got Harlem. I don't know if y'all saw that come in on
Yes,
Prime
I
Video.
saw that.
What's it about?
Yes. It's like it's this one on Prime Video. It reminds me a lot of there's this show on Stars right now. It's called Run the World, I believe it is. And it's just about these four friends that are kind of navigating adult life and like, in Harlem. So it's been really cool to watch as far as you know being someone who lives in Harlem and like they go to a lot of spots like around the corner and all of that. Like highlighting a lot of like black restaurants and black bars and things of that nature. So this one it looks pretty similar to the same concept, but it's always just really cool to see Black women that are like, even like a little bit older than us, just kind of navigating life, and especially in an area that you're familiar with too. So
when I first saw the trailer, I thought it was like an ad for Girls Trip 2 or something.
Oh, really? It's giving that vibe?
That's what I like. The first 5 seconds, that's what I thought. And I was like, oh, it's something different.
Oh man, I love Black women group of friends and any sort
yeah.
of movie, TV. I'm with you there, Bria. I'm excited to look at the trailer.
I love Megan Good, so.
Oh, she's in it? Oh yes, absolutely.
All right, then we got mostly news. So we got Sofia Vergara, who plays one of the parents in Modern Family, playing a Colombian drug queenpin in an upcoming Netflix series. That I feel like that's gonna be trash. I have very low expectations for that, because I don't get that energy from her. I'm gonna watch though. I hope she surprises me. But I just going from like the Modern Family um character to this, that's gonna be a huge change. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's like I haven't watched a ton that she's in, so maybe I can't really speak to her range, but I always thought that Modern Family, that was just her character. But then she was also on X Factor, I think. No, America's Got Talent. She's also on there, and she is very much the same as the character on Modern Family. So it's gonna be interesting to see her try to like break out of that, because it's literally the way she acts in real life is the same as this character. So seeing her be a whole drug queenpin is going to be an interesting shift. Like, I don't know how that'll work. So
Right. It's hard for me to take her seriously.
yeah.
Because like you said, I mean, I remember she was in that Medea movie, Brownie for My Brownie. Like, literally, it's the same role. And I
Oh my
guess her
god.
personality is just like that anyway. So yeah, that would be interesting to see her keep a straight face.
Yeah. So I don't know when that's dropping, but apparently that's coming soon. We got Leo DiCaprio playing Jim Jones. Twitter's that's just funny on Twitter. I didn't include that because it's hilarious on Twitter right now.
And yeah, correction, Jim Jones, the serial killer, not the rapper.
Yeah. I'm a Leo fan, so I'm looking forward to that. Even more so that it's got funny memes with it. So looking forward to more memes. We'll see what that goes. How y'all feeling about it?
I mean, I think that's great news. He's really picky with the roles he chooses. So, I mean, I feel like anything he's in is going to be something that you're like, wow. Especially,
He'll
I
probably
think,
kill it. Yeah.
yeah, like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Love that movie. I think that's the last thing I saw him in, and it's just like, yeah, he's goated at this point.
Yeah.
Anything he
Gold.
All right. Then my series, Squid Game, finally in talks for season 2, which I was not expecting it to come because they literally had 1,000 articles of him saying, I'm not worried about it. And I guess Netflix threw him that bag and was like, hey.
Yeah, Lily cut a check, probably.
It was like, yeah, should I all that down. Get to work. Get to writing. You got
Squid Game was I did not watch the series. It just isn't.
Oh.
It's not. It's nothing that it doesn't bring me peace. My soul is like, my heart is not at rest with stuff like that. So I didn't watch it, but just hearing about the success that it is, I'm sure he was easily convinced to make a season 2. Like, it probably was not difficult. The amount of money that Netflix was probably willing to throw at it. I can't really speak to, like where they will go with it, but do y'all think that it's a series that needs a season 2, or could they just have stopped?
I've been fine with the stopping. And he said he said he was fine with the stopping.
Yeah.
They kind of built it to a season 2 though, like how it ended. It felt like it was a natural jumping on point for a season 2, but
Yeah.
That's what I
Either
thought.
way, I'm not gonna watch it. I'm not gonna make that same mistake twice.
I feel like I'm just a little confused because I thought that the whole point was that, they're playing these games to pay off their debt. So at the end, did no one get their debt paid, or were there more finalists? Like, how is this working? And it probably just won't make sense because I haven't watched it, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's the
Maybe
type
I
of
have questions for
where
a show you didn't
the
see.
money really didn't mean much in the grand scheme of things, which
Okay.
is kind of funny because that's what seemed like the whole motivation.
Yeah.
So kind of like when you
Okay.
take out the money, I'm curious to see where they explore next. So
I don't even want them to do a continuation. I like the open ending. A lot of people be trying to slander him for not getting on that flight, but who cares?
yeah.
um, yeah, I personally would have been fine if there was no season 2. I like the ending. I was fine with it. I understood it.
Yeah.
He even want to write season 2, like, but he getting the bag, so salute to that.
Well, if Tef can't get a season 2, then why should Squid Game? Anyway,
Man,
money wise.
no, that's real.
Those
Yeah.
are 2 networks.
HBO, no, HBO. I don't know what they be on because there's a lot of stuff that they just haven't renewed, or Issa basically saying that they wouldn't give her an hour. And it's like a lot of these series are bringing between like Lovecraft Country, Insecure, and Watchmen. You're bringing like Black people are bringing a lot of Black people to your platform. And I don't know, like, I can't, make a judgment call and be like, this is why they're doing it, but it doesn't look great from the outside in.
It is not, and I hate that because like when you go on HBO Max, Insecure is in the HBO bucket, so
Mhm.
HBO is actually part of network television. So like it has to be fit into the schedule. They really just need to make her an HBO Max original, like just
Yeah,
move it over because that's independent of how booked their network television calendar, especially primetime TV is. So
right.
no one cares about. But yeah, I totally
Yeah,
agree.
it's like, what do they be playing after Insecure that's so important?
Right.
I don't understand.
I don't get it at all.
The Insecure rerun.
Literally, they just play the episode again.
All right, okay. Disney Plus Day on Friday.
So excited.
It'll be
I'm looking
fun.
forward to that Moon Knight. I saw something with that's the cover, so that's the only thing I'm really looking forward to.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
I
got a lot of I got a lot of questions about Disney Plus Day. So maybe explain what that is. A lot of people are like, huh?
Yeah. So last year it was the Disney investor call, and that's what it's been like. And they did all these huge announcements. But now they're like branding it as Disney Plus Day. And keep in mind, last year it was like a link that you had to find. This one is actually going to be streaming on Disney Plus. And all their announcements for National Geographic, Pixar, Disney, Marvel, Star Wars. And so like each different studio within Disney is going to have time to present. And it's I mean last year was huge casting news, and then they even announced a ton of new series and movies that were coming out. So I just feel like they're putting a lot more excitement, energy behind this. So I feel like it's going to be, I mean, huge. I'm
Yeah.
expecting a lot of casting news as well, from because they have a lot of stuff announced that hasn't even went into production yet. So I think that's cool. I'm really excited.
Yeah, that's cool. It's gonna be on Disney Plus. Because last year I didn't really know much about it. I know, like, I remember you posting about it, and I remember, things after the fact, but it
Mhm.
seemed a little bit more low key last year, so I missed the live stream of it.
Exactly. I'm like investors. I'm like it's the fans that care about these announcements. Yeah, you're.
Right.
It's like that was a horrible way to brand it. So
Yeah.
they learned it from this year. And then there's no Comic Con. Like I don't think I doubt if Marvel or Star Wars will ever be back at Comic Con. Maybe, but since
Mhm.
they're not doing it, this is like a perfect opportunity to make those announcements.
Yeah.
I only care about stuff that's coming out in the next like 3 months. All that 2025, 2026, I don't care.
Yeah. My big wishes are getting Fantastic Four casting, and then also more casting for Blade. And then them announcing just more things around some of the other series. But
Wait, is somebody? I'm gonna cut this out. Is somebody moving their mic?
yeah, I hear it too.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to edit. So, um,
Is there something moving on your desk, Aunt?
Me.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
okay, we can keep going.
Next is a Spider-Man poster.
Yes,
And please do
sir.
not say any leaks. I know there's a ginormous leak out there. I heard it looks like it's been photoshopped though. But please do not mention that on this because some of us are trying to be spoiler free. But the poster looks lit, and it looks like it's confirming Sandman, which I don't think we knew before. The poster has like a sand like tornado
Oh,
thing in the back.
it's got Sandman, it's got Green Goblin on it, and Electro.
And
Doc
Doc
Ock.
Ock, yeah. So that's a cool poster. I'm really excited for that movie.
I saw the leak.
Oh, that's great. Keep it to yourself.
it's
Oh my, would you say it's like a
nothing.
huge
It's nothing.
spoiler?
It's nothing like even a spoiler. It's what I don't know. It's not a spoiler.
Well, and everyone views spoilers a little differently, but I would you say like there's if people want to avoid that leak, like which pages to avoid? Like is it on I know that Eternals link was in Rolling Stones.
Oh no, I went and searched for it. I said
Oh, okay.
Spider-Man leak.
Gotcha. Wow. Alrighty. um, what about the Snow White remake?
I didn't see this one.
Oh,
Yeah, I just saw it. So apparently they're making a Snow White. I'm assuming live action because they said Gal Gadot
yeah, she's playing
playing it.
the evil
Um,
queen.
I don't trust her in anything after that last Wonder Woman. Um, I don't know how bad you can mess up Snow White. I feel like that's very minimal CGI and stuff like that. But still,
Mhm.
that Wonder Woman 2 was not it.
Tired of all these remakes. Disney is just so boring. Like, not and they're not boring. They put out good content, but this whole remake all the classics, it's like think of something else, you know? It's just getting old. They done that with Mulan, Aladdin, Lion King, Snow White. Like it just keeps Cruella. I mean, that's a little bit different, but they just keep making live actions of the same story.
Because you keep watching it and they want that bag.
No, I don't watch anything. It's these kids that keep watching it. But it's just kind of like it's really hard to believe that I don't know that their content team can't come up with anything else. And I just think they should push themselves to think of something a
Especially
little
live
more.
action. Like
Yeah.
outside of Marvel and Star Wars, like the only live action stuff we get from Disney is remakes, but all their
Mhm.
stuff like Encanto, that's coming out. Um, gosh, the one where he's like half a fish. What am I blanking on the name?
That was fire.
That was so good. Why am I blanking on the name? You remember the name of that movie?
I did not.
I'm blinking on it, but it was excellent. And it's like they're doing all these cool concepts for the animated, but like live action is just remake. So,
Yeah.
or like a Disney Plus series.
Give it 10 years. They're gonna,
Luca.
Yeah, Luca. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Their animated series, I mean, their animated movies are fire. And especially the Pixar ones. Excellent.
Yes.
They rarely
That's
miss.
their bread and butter.
Yeah.
they were live action that too in 2030.
What is? Oh, right. No, for real.
No, but I actually, you know what? You said we keep watching them, and you're absolutely right. Because I'm going to watch this live action Little Mermaid for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Like,
Oh,
that's not even a question.
And I just realizing I didn't know they announced this, but Rachel Zegler She's gonna be the new lead in the West Side Story remake. Talking about another remake we don't need, but that girl, like girl playing, is it Maria? She's gonna be Snow White, and I mean,
Mm.
it looks like her, so that's exciting.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
Netflix has a live action Avatar coming. Speaking of live action, don't they already have a live action Avatar movie?
Yeah,
Yes,
Trash?
it was
too.
awful. It was so bad. And so maybe they're trying to do it again as like kind of like on the Suicide Squad wave. Like, all right, let's just try
Like,
this again and see if we can get it right. I don't think the first one was Netflix Studios though. I don't remember who produced that,
oh yeah,
but
I think it was just like a regular like movie.
yeah, it was quite bad. So maybe with Netflix's resources, we might be able to get something together for that because it was not it.
Let's hope, because I mean, that was probably one of the greatest animated shows of all time, and I'm just like, come on now. And I'm like, my nephew's 10, and he watched it, and he's just perfectly fine with it. I think they think that younger audience is looking for like a live action version rather than watching the animation. Um,
Mm,
I don't understand why, but
yeah, I don't know where they got that from.
everything is money driven, so makes sense
Yeah,
in a capitalistic mindset. But
yeah.
cool, cool. So, um, I'm,
Time.
I'm sorry, Bria. Are we
No, it's
talking?
okay.
Harder We Fall is going to be first, right? Or
That's what I thought.
are we
Yeah.
doing okay? Um, okay. So I know we were all watching, or sorry, let me restart that. I'm sorry. I
No,
don't even
you're
know
good.
what to transition. I don't know how to transition. I can't.
Okay, so now we'll get into what we watched as a group this week, and it was The Harder They Fall on Netflix. So, where do you guys want to start? What were your general thoughts of it overall?
We had everybody in that movie. Literally everybody.
I swear,
Jesus.
the
Did I
cast
miss
was stacked.
like why was I not in it at that point?
Literally, you're just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Because if you would have walked up on the set, they'd have been like, "Come on, we got a spot for you."
Doing the Blue House over there.
Right. And I love that though, because even some smaller, like more emerging Black actors had like small parts in it. Um, I felt like this was like a Black version of Crash. You know how everyone was in Crash,
Mm,
like
yeah.
white celebrities, and then Ludacris I think was in it too. But um, I think this movie is like going to be a Best Picture contender for sure. The best movie that Netflix has ever put out, and I don't even like Netflix like that. Like they did a great job with the storytelling here. I loved it.
It was a great movie.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think through the catalog of Netflix movies to make sure
Alright.
that I agree with that
Make sure that's
statement.
make sure that's no. I'm about to Google it actually.
I mean, I feel like for me, I what really came to mind was *Da 5 Bloods*, like Spike Lee's movie from
Mhm.
last year. And I was actually not the biggest fan of that movie, but it was like had a lot of great Black talent in it. But I mean, I've never been, I mean, I really liked Extraction, like a, muscle action movie, but I've never felt like the storytelling was as, and then I like What Happened to Monday, like that too. But I will
Yeah,
stand
that's
next to
fair.
that statement. Like, this was so good. And Jonathan Majors is the absolute GOAT. I think so highly of him. And I think he really showed out in this movie.
He did.
So good.
Mm.
I really enjoyed it. I was hooked from like the first 5 minutes. I was like, okay, I don't know what this is about. All you guys said was Black Western, and I was like, I don't know where this is going, but we'll watch it. I was hooked after the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Um, and also one of the best scores that I've heard in a long time.
Mm.
I thought the soundtrack was so good. Like I went and downloaded it because I thought it was so good.
I need to
The
do
music was so good.
that.
Yeah.
I I think. Wait, what do you think? What did you think, Aunt? Sorry,
Loved it.
you loved it.
Fire. Especially that last like little like scene, whatever.
Mhm.
Like that scene, that shit was turned.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was not expecting them to be brothers. I'm like, he doesn't kill this man, and I was surprised he killed him.
Yeah.
I was super surprised. Like, wow, I just felt like that was, the revenge trauma cycle, which is going to keep going. But I have no idea. But I mean, it was really interesting, and I thought this was I loved. Okay, what? Let me ask y'all. What was y'all's take on what was her name? Her name is Kathy, but that was like her woman. She was, I think, trans woman. Um, sorry, cut that out. I don't know if she's trans or not. I know she's like male presenting. Um, let me rework that. So I really enjoyed too, like their portrayal of like masculine centered like cowboy. I thought that was really interesting. It only almost gave me like Whitney Houston documentary vibes, where it's like, was she stagecoach Mary's like lover for a while?
Mhm.
Because I remember like she was like when he came back, Jonathan Majors, to come visit Mary. Like she was like looking like, what are you doing here? And then at the
Yeah.
end, he gave her a kiss. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, and I just love to just how she was able, even though she was othered for being like a woman trying to be a cowboy, and then her being able to be a deputy at the end, like showing just taking her space and like in society, rather than being an outlaw. I thought that was really powerful too. So one of my favorite highlights of the movie.
Yeah.
Favorite highlight was they were just killing everybody.
Yeah, and it was a lot of. I'm like, gosh, I'm like, I thought they were
It
just
was kind of
killing
like,
white people. They killed.
yeah.
Who was what's his
They
name?
shot that horse and it showed too. Like they shot the horse at the beginning. And I only remembered because it like showed him getting shot. I was like,
It was gruesome.
oh man.
Favorite was Lakeith Stanfield.
Oh
His
yeah.
picture was so annoying, but he was really good in that role.
Yeah. I just like he's such a good he plays like the person you hate the most in the movie the best.
Yes.
The best way to describe it.
Yeah.
I also love I felt like what's his name, Jim, the young guy who was like wanted to like a sharpshooter. I just felt like that was like a little saint moment because he was the youngest one and everyone was so hurt when he got killed. But yeah, that was a tough death to watch.
Hmm.
I know a lot of people were, well, one, Regina King bodied the role,
Yes, as always.
a second, but I know a lot of people were like so much stuff about like colorism. I know we talked about it a lot, and I was surprised after seeing the movie, just so much around the harder they fall, the colorism problem, like major publications talking about it. But I feel like Zazie Beetz did a really good job in this movie. Granted, I mean, obviously someone else could, and like the casting was questionable, but I really enjoyed her performance. What about
She did
y'all?
well. She did really well. I think we talked about this a couple episodes ago as far as there's of course always opportunity to actually just portray a dark skinned woman as a dark skinned woman and not like try to like fit them into a light skinned woman's role. But if it had to be a light skinned woman, then I'm satisfied with her performance. So
Right.
I agree
And
with you.
and I feel like with a lot of black movies in general, like this whole idea of like she was like the damsel, and I just felt like it's so many times that persona is just like a light skinned woman, like
mhm.
the desired, the token or whatever within the movie. And I'm just like, I'm kind of over that trope. And I feel like that's kind of probably played into the casting too.
Yeah.
Especially if she's like such a dope, badass woman. Like she doesn't have to be anyway. But I totally see what you're saying, Bria. And that homeboy from Twilight, that caught me off guard. I'm like, is that Lauren? Lawrence without his locks? I was like, what? But I'm like, I immediately recognized him. That was nice to see him come back.
Yeah. I thought Dion Cole's, what was it? What's the character's name?
Wiley. Wiley.
I just wasn't expecting him to see him in the movie either. So it was like, oh,
Yeah.
literally everyone's in here. So,
Everybody.
yeah.
I just heard to see is it Dame? Is it name Damon Wayans Jr.? I think it's
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
What are you doing here?
Right.
What brother's that?
And then Idris. I mean, it's to the point where Idris, like anything he's gonna be in, he's gonna play it well. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I forget to even comment on his performances because it's the standard. He's gonna do really well. He's gonna captivate an audience, and he played Bad Boy really well.
Yeah. He always does. You know, Idris is Idris. He's literally, he literally is really good at what he does, no matter what the role is. So
Yeah, that scene between him and Jonathan Majors at the end, when he's crying and he tells him he's his brother, that was a really powerful scene.
it was. I love that scene.
And it was just like then like he literally carved the cross in his head and then like he took the blood and crossed it. I'm like, there's just so much symbolism.
Mm-hmm.
And then like putting the cross stakes for his parents' grave. It was really intense. I would be so mad if this does not get nominated for Best Picture.
I would be very surprised if it didn't. I mean, I'm not gonna say surprised because nothing really surprises me anymore. But I would genuinely be shocked if it didn't.
For sure.
So I know you all watched Eternals. Do you wanna, or was there anything else that you wanted to talk about for The Harder They Fall? Any other things you really liked about the movie or didn't like?
No, I think they definitely set up for a sequel, so that's nice. They're thinking about that ahead of time rather than just hoping and praying like, oh, I hope it's cool. So, and it looks like Regina King will be centered in that. So, I mean, that's exciting. But yeah, I think that's my thoughts.
Yeah. Cool. Anything else from you, Aunt? No.
No.
Okay. Cool. Well, I know you all watched Eternals. I didn't get a chance to watch it yet. I'm going home this weekend, so I'm gonna watch it with my family. We're gonna go to the movies one night. So I'll let y'all kind of take the reins here.
And how about you go first?
All right, that shit was mid. Let's get right straight. That shit was mid. I was in there falling asleep. It was too long. The fight scenes. Somebody tweeted, and it was a very great tweet. They said, "Eternals become very eternal." They was getting smoked in each and every scene. They was getting absolutely smoked. I could not be impressed. And then Icarus, he lame. He put up on my man Jon Snow. Middle of the day, he had it handled. He want to show off, laser beam eyes. I don't care about that.
Well, so it's interesting. On my first watch, I absolutely adored the movie. And I think it was just because the anticipation was building so much for so many years. But my second watch, I went to take my sister to it. And she's like, why'd you take this? This is a waste of my time. She didn't like it at all. I felt like I saw a lot more nitpicks, especially the deviants. Like, what was the purpose of the deviants? And then I wish we got more Makari and just Makari in general. Like, I felt like she's by far, like, hands down the most interesting Eternal. And I hated that they basically, we saw everybody's backstory, what they were up to all these centuries that they've been apart. and then they completely summed up what she was doing. Is she was sitting in this underground, spaceship for centuries. Like, come on now, like do more with her. I didn't really like that. Like, and also I hated that we didn't see her react to the news of Ajax and Gilgamesh dying. So there, I mean, the thing is, I just overall, they stuffed a lot in one film. I feel like this could have easily been a Disney Plus series and got way more justice.
That's
But
what I said.
you really, yeah. But I think they did so much well though. Like the characterizations, like the different relationships. I'm definitely a Drukari fan because Druid Makari, the spark was definitely there and I loved it. And I just really liked how they showed just so much diversity without it feeling forced. And I just the team ups in general and like the turn, we're expecting it to be the deviants, but it's actually an eternal. But ultimately, I think the number one thing that it does well is setting up like a really interesting framework for the future. So obviously the post-credit scenes, but like now we have so many jumping on points for all these different characters. And it's really exciting. So despite like a lot of the nitpicks, a lot of the story being kind of weird, I totally see why. I mean, it's Marvel's only certified rotten movie. Like the fact that it's worse than Thor: The Dark World, Incredible Hulk, it's just mind-boggling to me. But I definitely see why a lot of people are in the middle ground because it is so different from a typical MCU movie.
It was just a lot, and it was like boring to me. Like even the fight scenes, were kind of like boring because they all just did like the same thing. Like the dude with like the Gilgamesh, he just kept punching them. They run up on him, he just punches them. They fly back, they come back, he punches them again. I'm like, come on. And then Athena, I think it was Angelina Jolie's, uh,
Mm-hmm.
she just gets on top and stabs him in the head. It's like, all right, man.
Yeah.
Can I get some variability in the skills combos? Can I get something? I think people they're just in there spamming buttons. X X X X X. Same
Right.
over.
Not XXX, I'm weak. I mean, okay, video game. I got that reference. But yeah, I feel like Angelina Jolie I felt like she was kind of wasted in the movie because I mean, granted, I like that she wasn't the focal point just because of her star power, but I definitely think Makari had the best action scenes, like her beating up Icarus
She was
and then her finding the emergence point,
she
that
was
little dash moment from Incredibles, like that was so cool, running on water and shit. What were you about to say?
she had that boy Icarus in hell. He was going through it.
And I mean, okay, so who, I mean, I know you didn't like the movie that much, but who would you say is your favorite Eternal?
I don't know.
You don't have one that stood
I like,
out?
I like the I forget his name. Um,
Kingo?
who?
Kingo? Kumail's character? Kumail Nanjiani?
The dude that the technology.
No, oh, Fastos. You're talking about
Yeah,
Fastos is your
there we go.
favorite?
Yeah, I liked him. It was cool. The dude that can control people's minds, he was cool too.
Yeah. I like Druid a lot.
Probably him too, just because he was like, we can stop all this. And
Mhm.
they were like, no. And he
Yeah.
was like, well, forget y'all. I'm gonna just go on, do my own thing. Right,
Mhm. Yeah, I get that. I think it's tough. I think mine is like Kingo and Makari. But I think at first I ranked this before with like a group of my friends, but now I'm putting like Makari at the front. I wish we got more of her, so that's why I get Kingo because we got more of him and I really liked his character. But yeah, those two were definitely like standouts for me. What are your thoughts on the post-credit scenes?
first one I didn't care about. Just
But
because
what Harry Styles in the MCU?
I don't care about him. Also, I feel like that was since I was setting up like Eternals, like their second part. I just actually didn't care about. I already don't care about the movie, so I don't care about part two. I'm just like, all right, this is mid. I gotta watch another movie get beat up again.
Mhm.
Um, so, but the second one was fire, especially with
Mhm.
they got my boy Jon Snow. He got a sword back in his hand. They got
Mhm.
Jon Snow in the MCU. Shout out to my boy.
Wasn't it weird hearing "I love you, Cersei" at the end? Jon Snow saying he loves Cersei was
Man,
funny.
they just, they just beamed her up. I was sick for him.
I know,
Put that
but
on
it's just like so funny. Two different. I only know two Cerseis ever, and it's Game of Thrones and Eternals, and the fact that he's in them like interacts with both is crazy. But yeah, did you like when you watched it? Um, like, did you know the relevance of that? Like, who his character was going to be?
No, I didn't.
Gotcha. I thankfully when they cast him as Dane Whitman is the Black Knight in the comics. And shout out to my friends who are like read a lot of comics who just educated me. But like he like and remember he talked about like I need to make amends with my uncle, and he looked like he was about to tell her something about his family. So I guess his whole mythology is dating back to like when the ebony blade, like Merlin and that whole type of I always I don't know what the name is like of that specific I guess time period, but it's going to be really interesting to see it because I mean obviously we've seen him as a warrior and with a large ass sword, so it's really exciting and I how excited you are about the voice at the end.
I was more excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
I think also because as far as like Dane, I didn't catch his name. I was sitting there trying to remember that man's name for the longest through the movie because I just didn't remember what they said his name was.
Mm-hmm.
And then I googled it and I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy. I mean, I'm happy he's in the MCU though because I really liked him in Game of Thrones. So I'm interested to see what they do with him um, going forward. And then Blade, we got my man's back.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to seeing how they execute that.
Right. And I just feel like that's bound to be a Disney Plus Day announcement, especially with most people seeing Eternals. But yeah, it was just good to finally like hear his voice in MCU because we don't even have a date for that movie right now.
Exactly.
So that's really exciting. Yeah. So overall, what would you give it out of 10?
5.
5. Wow.
Mid.
I give it a 7.5.
That's disrespectful to the movies. The MC movies are actually 7.5.
What? I yeah, I mean we have fundamental disagreements we think are good MCU movies, so I mean that's cool. You thought Shang-Chi was mid. I'm like, what? But
It wasn't
it
as good as Eternals.
gotcha.
At least he wasn't getting beat up like literally every fight.
Yeah, I mean I guess, but when you have 10 Eternals and you squish it all in one movie, like it's just gonna be tough in general. But I thought it was really ambitious for them to do that. Um, but yeah.
I don't like the jumping back and forth. And like you said, I didn't understand. The deviance was just like, especially after the plot twist, I was like, all right. And then I thought they was going to team up, whatever. And then they trying to fight, Icarus and the deviant. I'm like, all right, this is
Yeah,
doing
I'm like, why did he
it.
even show up? Like, I was
Yeah,
just so confused. I'm
that's
like,
a
I was
playthrough.
thinking in the movie that they were actually going to team up. Like, oh, they realized they were both getting manipulated by the Celestials,
Yeah,
but no, he was just like, oh, destroy you, whatever, whatever. And I'm like, and he easily got killed. There was no sort of like struggle. Like Thena just chopped his head off. So
hold on. I'm gonna kill you first. Then we're about to fight, and I'm like, all right, man. He could have been posting up because his whole thing was to stop it, and they're stopping it. Um,
mhm.
I just didn't the point. What were you gonna do? Because he don't got that power to stop it.
Right. It's weird.
Clearly, he
I
didn't
yeah.
didn't
The
actually.
whole the dev I get like you have to have distractions, whatever, but like the deviants in general just didn't work for me at all. So yeah, we can agree on that.
I don't understand even like the scene when he like made the change and then like he changed all the other ones. I didn't get that. Like they
uh,
all look the same, and then like one was a cat, one was this. I'm like, all right, man.
it was really giving Monstars from the original
Yeah.
Space Jam. But I guess they took his powers and now he has like his more strength and intelligence, I guess. So yeah. Well, that is that on the Eternals. But I mean, to each his own. Um, very much mixed reviews, but that's fine. So let's talk about other things that y'all have been watching.
Watch hella shit. As usual, let's be watching stuff. Um, something like this. It's on my phone. My notes up. All right. I watched this movie Arrival on Hulu. A bunch of my friends told me it was good. They said it was one of the best sci-fi movies they've ever seen. That is not true. It was very mid movie. I was not impressed. It was very regular. I also feel like I've seen it before.
Yeah.
Mid regardless. Um, watch my stories, my anime. Caught up on those. Harder They Fall, of course. I watched this Swedish movie called The Trip. There was a lot going on in there. It was pretty much about this couple, and they were like arguing, and they go to this cabin, and initially they try to kill each other. Um, and then
Mhm.
I was trying to be multitask when I started watching it, and then I was just trying to see what was going on. So I actually started watching it, and like two us this one guy and this other group of guys end up trying to kill them, and then they had to team up and fight back against them. It was it was weird. It was an interesting watch. I won't say it was trash.
Okay.
It was an interesting watch. It's another one, and since it was Swedish, like the translation was weird, especially with like the um subtitles. Netflix really got to work on that. The subtitles and the language transitions be so disgusting.
Yeah.
They're never even like the same. Um,
Yeah, that's pretty consistent.
I watched that movie Love Hard, which is like for whatever reason it's number one on Netflix right now.
Yes, like
Um, Netflix just be I don't know what they be doing with their rankings. They be like new movie, put it number one, so people watch it.
Right.
They just be doing anything with their top 10.
well, honestly, more people could have really watched that. That makes sense. White majority in the country and
And
people.
it's like holidays now, People are getting in the Christmas spirit.
Yeah, that's true.
Or on Netflix, and they put that nonsense at number one.
You didn't like it?
Absolutely not. It was okay. Um, it's not number one though.
Yeah.
Especially when you have hard, you just dropped Harder They Fall, and you have this nonsense, and at number one, you just disrespecting. You just being disrespectful at that point.
Mm, I get that.
Racism. And then I watched that movie Hypnotic. I had spoken about I think last go. That was all right.
Can you remind us what that was about?
It was about this lady. She ends up meeting this therapist, and then essentially it just becomes like this stalking, like the stalker type movie,
Yeah.
whatever. But he has her like um hypnotized, where she went to see him as a therapist. He hypnotizes her, and so um it was kind of interesting how they did it because they would he would hypnotize her to where like she would think and like she was in one place, but she actually wasn't. She was in a whole different place, but she was like seeing things because of just off of like things she would make her do.
Mhm.
I like that. It was okay.
You said this was on Netflix?
Yeah, let's go ahead and nod it.
Oh yeah, I just well the little title screen, like the sleep screen on Netflix just showed it. One of the characters looks like he's a Thanos chin. Anyway, have y'all watched the Colin in Black and White?
No, I haven't watched that yet.
Nah,
Excellent.
Really?
Excellent. I thought it was going to be a little corny,
that's funny.
but it
That's why
was
I didn't watch
really,
it.
really good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's on my watch list. Like one of the next things that I want to watch.
Mhm.
My roommate was watching it and she liked it. So
Yeah, it's an easy one. You can just watch in one sitting. Like you just keep wanting to watch more.
yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I was wondering where they would go with that and how it would be received. So I'm glad it's good. I feel like I haven't been watching a ton since the last time that we met. There's a series on Netflix. It's called Inside Job. I don't
Hmm.
know if anyone's watched it yet, but it's giving very much so Rick and Morty, which I'm very much so into like crude anime or crude animation, um, like those type of series. So it's really good. It's like these humans, but then also aliens are all working out of this kind of a space base. And this space base is like the base of a whole bunch of different conspiracies, like with the government. You just have to watch it, but they're going on all these missions and stuff. So it's really good if you like Rick and Morty. I was like cracking up during it, so you might like this too.
Oh my God, I'm putting that right on my. I love Rick and Morty, and I know
Yes.
you got me hip to Big Mouth. So
I was
I feel
literally
like
about to say there's a new
No,
season of Big Mouth.
it's weird.
This
yes,
season,
This shit is
this
so
season,
weird.
this season is actually ridiculous. I almost like don't feel comfortable watching it anymore. I feel like if there was a line, they like jumped over it this season.
really.
They're just on.
Yeah.
They have a kid on there sleeping with his pillows. What do you mean they're just not crossing
Oh
the line?
yeah.
I mean,
That line's
yes,
been
but
crossed.
but they've never shown a kid's like it yes, it's animated, but they've never shown, to my knowledge, maybe I just like don't be paying attention like that. But they showed his whole dick on the screen.
What?
That's why I'm like, this is supposed to be kids, so
It's
there's something wrong
weird.
here.
Like when I first started watching the show, it's like, gosh, seeing like kids get boners and shit. I'm like,
Yeah,
this makes me feel weird watching it. Like,
the season one finale, I like it. It kind of kept me up for a little while because it was like you really just sat here and like at the end, they basically like broke the fourth wall and they were like, well, it's over now, and you just sat here and watched all these little kids like talk about sex. We're like, I was like, you're right, I did do that and I shouldn't have.
yeah.
But
Oh
yeah,
my God. So you're saying it's worse? I can't even imagine.
it's worse in my opinion. At first, because I told someone to watch it, and then I had to double down and or double back and be like, actually, please don't. Like at least don't tie it to me if you do. So
Mm,
I think that's all I've been watching really. Just kind of stuff to play in the background this week.
gotcha. I haven't watched too much. I kept on with Succession. I'm so in love with that show. I
Mm-hmm.
started from season one, and I mean, it's excellent. Like, oh my gosh, great drama. It gives me, I don't know if I talked about it last episode, but it's like Knives Out meets Billions, and I just like both are like
Yeah.
two of my favorite things ever. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a really good show. And obviously we've all been watching Insecure.
Yes. So do you want to start with episode
That last
two?
episode was that last episode was making me so mad.
Yes, let's
Let's
debrief.
get into it. Okay, so let's start with episode two. So as a little bit of a recap, Hold on, I'm gonna edit this part out because I just pulled up the recap, but I lost it. Give me just a second. Where'd it go? Sorry. Okay. So we'll start with episode 2. This one's called Growth Okay. And it essentially is about Issa trying to find her footing and turning to an old friend for support. And also, Molly is jumping back into the dating pool. This was when Kofi was the client, right?
Yes.
This was that episode when Kofi was the client and he just kind of went off and did his own thing for
Mhm.
the show. So, what did y'all think about that episode?
I think what was happening there.
I mean, I resonated because when they had to pitch to that investor to like get money and they had all those like that is literally have been my life for the past 4 months. So I just resonate with like people not, especially white people, always trying to like control like your art and like the vision of things. Especially from like a corporate lens. I'm like, oh my god, this is reading my whole life. But I thought it was an excellent episode, and I mean, just Issa, and it's tough. I love that portrayal. It's like, okay, she's an entrepreneur, she's on the up and up, but she, she's still, cleaning floors and managing these nasty apartments. Like, I feel like in shows, it's either you're the struggling entrepreneur, like through and through, and then you're the really successful. It's not like that middle ground. And that's kind of like where I feel like where I'm in my personal life. So, I mean, all overall, like this is just an amazing episode.
Yeah.
That scene with Nathan was so awkward. I'm not even gonna lie.
The one where she
Oh, I
cried.
forgot about that.
Flat out cried to him, and she called him over like on some sneaky link type stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because I really like Nathan in the show, even though he like kind of ghosted and all that stuff. But I was like, oh man, this is nice. Like she get back with Nathan, and then kind of made that a little awkward. But I mean, he's
Yeah.
like a good friend, so it was good to see like him in that moment support her.
Yeah. At first I was just kind of like, I don't need to see Nathan this season. But now I'm kind of starting to like him. I've really been reevaluating what I want for Issa.
Yeah.
And this whole baby situation, no, not a big fan. So, maybe Nathan might be the next best choice.
She deserves nothing. She's a cheater.
Man.
Now she's stuck. Look at her. It's all her fault.
No, she's actually the opposite of stuck. Lawrence is stuck. Lawrence is stuck with a child.
Let's just get into that next episode.
My sis is free.
She's gonna be crying in that man's mouth.
My sis Issa is free. She is free to do as she pleases without any infant to worry about. And so
yeah, she's still crying over Lawrence.
Episode 3 is absolutely,
but she's free.
Yeah, I'm like, she gotta do her own thing because that drama just seems too intense. That episode, like, literally felt like I was suffocating for both of them, Condola and Lawrence. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, that is the best form of birth control, is that episode. I kept seeing people tweet that. I'm like, retweet.
Yeah, it's like, especially if in that situation when you now have a kid with someone who you weren't really expecting to have a kid with, like,
and you're in different cities, like co-parenting. Oh, that just sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah. I didn't really understand the scene on the airplane when they hit the turbulence. Like, was that I don't understand what they were trying to get across there. Like, they had the turbulence and that was his moment where he was like, I'm gonna figure it out, or like, I don't get it.
I had the same question. I'm like, this is supposed to be his aha moment, like life's too short. Let me I don't know. But I didn't really even get life's too short vibes because all he had to say was like, okay, things need to change. But I guess that's the next episode.
It's like usually like normal too as well. Like I don't know. I'm sure he's been on planes and went through turbulence before. I don't know why that. And then it was short. Like I don't know why. I don't know. I feel like they could have executed that better.
Yeah, like give
No,
it.
that's how I'd be when the turbulence hit.
I would say I've never had turbulence that bad. I'm like, I would have been I've been crying on the plane. But that's that's insane. But I really liked how they had that, like it was split and it's like Lawrence's perspective, and he still be able to have all this freedom, like trying to be more active in his child's life and like the day-to-day responsibilities. But Condola is literally so stressed out and doesn't have that freedom, but like kind of using that to like spite Lawrence and his involvement. I didn't really like how she treated him, but I was happy that they put
Me either. I heard a lot of people kind of side with Condola, and like totally get it. Yes, she's the one who is basically putting in all the hours and all of that. But at the same time, like he was trying, and yes, it's definitely her first kid, and you know how all that goes. But I don't know, there was just a little more space for her to.
Someone brought up that good point that she wasn't even trying to have kids before.
Yeah, that too.
She got a divorce because she didn't want kids.
Yeah.
Hate that
Also,
I forgot
Kiki Palmer, perfect for the role.
part.
Perfect for that role.
Exactly.
Really great choice.
I hate that for my man's Lawrence, but Lawrence Hop, we still gonna prosper in the end of the season. Let's believe.
I agree with you, Bria. I felt like he definitely, especially it's not like he's a deadbeat. Like his family was trying to be involved, and then like that scene where she's like, "Give me the baby," or like, and I was just like freaked out, like, "Gosh, the baby about to get dropped or something? Y'all can't just be arguing with the baby like this."
Right.
But yeah, and it just like, and I don't want to be like this because it's like obviously it takes two people to make a child, but you didn't really give him a say. Like it wasn't even discussion. She was gonna keep the baby. So I feel like it's like she's still trying to figure out like, okay, this was her decision, but she also needs help, and like, but she also resents him in some capacity.
Yeah.
So like, how is she navigating that space? But I felt like she could have done it a lot. She could be a little bit more sympathetic and communicative, because I'm like, he has to fly every Friday. That just sucks. And he has to get a hotel room, and oh my God, that sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah. It's also just kind of like in the last season, she was saying, hey, I'm having this baby, but you don't need to be involved. And now she's mad that he's not as involved. And it really just makes me feel like she said that out of like fear, per se, that, he wasn't going to respond well. And now he did. He didn't respond how she thought. And now she's just kind of in this space that's like, okay, I didn't actually mean that. I do need help. But I think she's a little too prideful to say it.
Right. I'm just curious about like how Issa and their relationship is going to be taken. Like, how are they going to interact after this? Would you say?
Fuck Issa. The woman's a cheater. We do not respect cheaters on this podcast.
I mean, everyone makes mistakes.
Well, that whole episode reminded me. That's like literally the reason why I went celibate. Last year, I was like, you know what? A lot of people getting pregnant out here, and I can't be me, because that was just a reminder of why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I refuse. I cannot be going through that.
Yeah, that's
a nightmare.
Yeah, the like co-parenting a newborn, like that sounds like a nightmare.
Right, like a newborn too. Oof.
That's crazy. And then not being able to have a say in his name. Like you just gotta say yes to everything. Like yeah.
I hate that for him, but
having kids is insane.
Yeah. So you
that was a lesson. You're right. Stop fucking raw.
Right.
Use some birth control. Like, come on.
I stopped. Taking no more risk.
Man.
I cried 40 days and 40 nights, boy. I tell you what.
And then Molly, she's entering the dating scene again. Her and Issa are, back in good graces, it feels like. They're having sleepovers and helping each other out with stuff. It feels like they're in the old groove. So that's a good feeling. And it seems like they're in healthier spaces for each other, which is why I think I'm so approving of, her and Molly getting so close again.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of, I wonder if it's going to stay that way or if, something else is going to happen and it blows up and then we're back in the same cycle.
I might break my TV if that happens.
To rip your TV.
Throw my phone right at the TV, man. Get this out of my face.
I definitely would love to see Molly, like, because they keep going those flashbacks of like kind of just her flaws and like I don't want to say I don't know if it's trauma, but just like all this conflict in her past relationships. Like I would love to see like manifest into like so many lessons learned, self-love that allow her to either blossom just like individually, or maybe she'll meet someone where it's like equally yoked and like all her these hard lessons have some sort of meaning. Because I'm not I low key I feel bad for her. Like I'm sick of
Yeah.
seeing her struggle, you know? Like she's damn near been the punching bag, except for last season. She was kind of crazy, but she's been like a punching bag for like I don't know. I just feel like they always give her the short end of the stick. And
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Is there anything else that happened in Insecure that we're forgetting about?
I mean, Kelly definitely probably had the line of the season.
Which one?
My friends, like everyone I associate with are
Oh,
friends
yes.
in abundance. I'm like, I know I'm
Abundance.
gonna see that everywhere. It's gonna be the New Year's caption. I already see it.
Right. She knew exactly what he was asking too. Abundance.
Exactly.
Someone definitely put that on a shirt by now.
I know. I'm like, that may be my New Year's caption. Now I'm making me know that I'm thinking about it.
That's funny. All right. Nothing else?
What's on your what y'all watching next? What y'all got on the list?
My list. Let's see. I have Colin in Black and White. That's definitely something that I want to watch. I don't know if either of you watched In the Dark
What's on my
on
list?
Netflix. You said that's on your list too, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's essentially about this lady who is blind and she has a guard dog and or like a guiding dog, and she witnesses a murder, but obviously she's blind, so she is like trying to solve it with lack of vision and things of that nature. It turns into a whole bunch of other things, but they just released a new season of it, so I'm gonna definitely tune into that. They do a really good job of leading up to the next season, like leaving the first season on a really big cliffhanger and then teeing it up really well for the next one. So I'm excited to watch that too.
That sounds really good. I honestly have nothing on my watch list. I haven't been able to watch as much TV lately, but I probably kind of just tap into whatever y'all are watching.
I got a couple. I got a couple things. I found something called Dr. Brain on Apple, so I'm gonna watch that. Yellow Jackets drops this weekend, so I'm gonna check that out. Kind of saw that. I wish it was just dropping all at once, but it's dropping week by week. But I'll be tapped in for that weekly. This movie called Caged on Stars. Let me see what that's in for. I'm gonna watch Red Notice on Netflix. I have no expectations for it. I'm gonna watch it. It's probably gonna be a number one. It doesn't deserve. Not gonna deserve to be a number.
Any new thing I feel like always goes number one.
Yeah.
Except for
sure.
they fall.
Exactly.
Where it deserves to be. It's ridiculous. And then I'm gonna watch that Arcane show on Netflix. I saw earlier. Apparently, that's 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. So I'm gonna see what that's
What's
in
the
for.
show called?
Or Arcane. It's like a
Arch-
League of Legends show, I guess.
Hmm.
Mm.
So I'm gonna see what that's in for. And I added Colin Black and White and Inside Job.
Yeah, I also need to watch the new On My Block season. I've been putting it off. I've been busy, but love that show. I think it's the final season. Love those kids.
Great.
See what they get into this season.
I'm like a few episodes in. Ruby makes the show.
Really?
The other people are just like, eh. But Ruby, I just, oh my god, his care. I love him. I love Ruby.
Really? Okay.
I can't get over that scene that they keep putting on Twitter where they're out. The girl and the guy are walking. The dude and the gang are walking, and the dude rolls up on him in the car. He's like, "They call me a little spooky. I'll blast your
Oh
ass."
yeah. Oh yeah. Was that last season?
It is. I think it's like the first or second season.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh. I'm like,
That was
honestly, I
spooky.
can't take Caesar seriously because it's like you
Yeah.
know that in real life that actor has no idea what that gang life is about, and so just him trying to talk
It's clear. It's so clear.
damn white socks. I'm like,
If you don't get,
I'm just like, oh my god, talking about. I just
That's funny.
yeah,
oh Omar, his brother, he has a really cool turn too. He's a kind of a
Okay.
so, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll watch that too. I'll try to finish the season.
If my memory doesn't mistake me, Omar is kind of fine. But
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the right person. Yeah, he's kind of fine.
Omar is very fine. Yes. I can retweet that.
All right. Well, I think that wraps up this episode of the Bingeverse. Anything else anyone wants to add before we close out the episode?
Eternals was mid.
What'd you say?
Eternals was mid.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll see you this weekend and I'll make the call. I'll break the tie. But all right, well, thank you all for tuning in to this episode of the Bingeverse. As always, follow us on all of our social media at the Bingeverse and make sure you tune in next week make sure you tune in for our next episode as well.
Good. Pieces.
Bye. Okay, stop recording.